Hey folks, a couple of weeks ago I uploaded a video going over interesting NPCs and travellers in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because my gosh, the game is jam-packed with them. I love the NPCs in this game and could gush for hours about their depth, nature, and every little detail about them. Instead, I'm back with a part 2 to that video thanks to your lovely feedback. One video simply wasn't enough. So today, let's look at 5 more interesting NPCs/travellers in Breath of the Wild. What makes them so interesting, some dialogue you might have missed, and give them the coverage they deserve. Oh, and by the way, I recently unlocked the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube. It's basically a way of donating to the channel to help support me in creating these videos. It's absolutely not something you should feel obligated or pressured to do so. It does help me out, but please only donate if you have some spare money on the side and want to help my work. Anyway, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. Also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out, and let's get into this one. Our first pick of the day takes us to the south of Hyrule, from the Highland and Lakeside Stables to as far as Lurelin Village. It's one that you've all been asking for. We can find a traveller by the name of Spinch. And also his horse, also named Spinch. I mean, talk about interesting. Damn. Now, Spinch was probably the traveller that I saw the most tweets and comments about, telling me how cool this guy is and that he should really be in the video. So I thought I'd start this video off with the man himself, and give him the spotlight that he deserves. Aside from sharing a name with his horse, he is a very knowledgeable guy and has some interesting dialogue when spoken to. So Spinch is of the belief that everybody should change their name to Spinch. Spinch is in a cult. Sorry. Spinch is a cult. This is such a random conversation to come across whilst exploring Hyrule and talking to the many travellers of the land. You just wouldn't expect it, and it's quite interesting. Whilst in this rather bizarre cult, he is actually quite knowledgeable. He talks about the giant horse found in Tabob Grassland, the beautiful white horse that belonged to Princess Zelda, and even the stall horses. I don't know how he knows all of this, but he does. It doesn't stop there though. He'll also discuss things such as archery on horseback and the different ways you can mount a horse in style. This guy knows his stuff. Spinch has a little bit of an energetic personality, from his yee-haws to his sharing of random information. Spinch is a traveller loved by many fans for his fun personality, and is somebody that you should definitely seek out on your next adventure. You won't regret it. Next up takes us to the scorching heat of the Gerudo Desert. In Gerudo Town specifically, we can meet an NPC by the name of Ashe. This Vi is a teacher of 2 different things actually. During the day, she teaches the Vo and You class, helping younger Gerudo girls to learn about finding a Vo outside of town. And in the evenings, runs a little cooking class which can be very helpful to newer players or those that don't cook very often. Ashe is an NPC that will truly show you some of the culture in this game. In this case, Gerudo culture. Their way of life. Take our daytime class Vo and You for example. This classroom can be found by the Gerudo barracks entrance and is free to enter and observe the lessons. Here, Ashe teaches the younger generation of Gerudo their way of life in terms of finding a Vo partner. The Gerudo are an all-female race, bar one male Gerudo born every 100 years. In Breath of the Wild, no male is even present to our knowledge, and we see the women living, thriving, and doing just fine. They are able to reproduce with those outside of the Gerudo walls, as we see many youngsters around, proving that Gerudo reproduction is just fine without their one male around. Anyway, observing this class is something that you should definitely do. You'll see how the Gerudo, especially the younger ones, have almost no clue about how to interact with their potential future Vo. Ashe's goal is to teach them how to have the best shot at getting a partner, but some students will give some golden responses to her questions. It's all simply a learning experience, but is pretty cute. From saying that they'd simply just attack a man, to pretending not to speak their language to avoid interaction. God, that's something I'd totally do as well. It's honestly quite cute and funny. This life class is a key part of Gerudo culture and is really interesting to go and see. Talk to Ashe, observe her class. None of these younger Gerudo will have ever met a male. Go observe this class and check out the interesting and funny responses that the students give, as well as see how Ashe teaches them. Obviously, I mean, she has the pick on the list. It's all very interesting, as is her cooking class in the evening, but there isn't really much more to say about it, other than that it's a cooking class. In the nature-filled Akala region, we can build a town, from the ground up, Terry Town. Upon completion of building this brand new settlement... Oh, that's the bus. Upon completion of building this brand new settlement, a man by the name of Haji and his family will move in. But this man isn't any ordinary guy. He can be found sitting by the edge of town, looking out to the Torin wetlands. If we talk to him, we'll quickly learn that Haji is a bit of a, well, stereotypical rich person. I can't say the word here, but I'm sure you know what I want to say. It's the less tame version of butthole. Anyway, Haji is a very rich man with some rather odd but interesting desires in life. He's a little bit rude upon talking to, and will say that based on Link's looks that he is in need of money. Excuse me? He even calls Link a commoner. He'll ask if Link is in need of money, and if you answer yes, Haji will appreciate the honesty and make Link a deal. Well, more force him into one by immediately making a down payment of 100 rupees. But for what, you might ask? Well, whilst Link is just as confused as the player here, Haji forces Link to take the money, accepting the down payment, and Haji then assigns Link the task of taking out the two guardians down at the Torin wetlands. Yup, that was out of nowhere. This starts the quest, Hobbies of the Rich. That's the type of person that Haji is. A rich man with nothing better to do than pay some commoners money to do dangerous or pretty out there stuff. This is like Squid Game, Zelda edition. Yeah, more or less. That's a pretty good description. Haji is a pretty damn interesting guy that, whilst not the nicest or most caring in these post-apocalyptic times, does add a little something to the NPCs in this game. He spices it up. He adds a little bit of chaos to your adventure. Not everyone can be nice, I guess. Go talk to him and experience this little questline and his dialogue. Moving up northwest to Rito Village, we can find the village craftsman, Harf. Your local, it's not a phase mum, bird boy. I bet he's happy about the recent MCR release. Me too. Harf is a good friend of another well-known Rito, Teba, the Rito who helps us enter Divine Beast Meadow. Now Harf also tried this great feat prior to Link's arrival, but got injured in doing so, and that is why we find him in this state, stuck to the ground. Speaking to Harf, he'll tell Link that he always wanted to be a warrior, but rather inherited his family business of crafting bows, something rich within Rito culture. Where this gets interesting is that Harf actually got so good at his craft that he learned to recreate the Great Eagle Bow, the very same that the champion Rivali used, the greatest Rito warrior known. Harf wanted to be a warrior, as previously mentioned, and this desire actually almost got him killed, and it's told in a really cool story if we speak to him. That previously mentioned story about Harf failing to enter Va Meadow would have concluded worse if it wasn't for Teba to be there and save Harf's life. You can learn all about this story if you talk to Harf, as well as his life as a craftsman. He's one of the coolest Rito NPCs in the game if you ask me, as well as just one of the coolest in general. With his unique skill to craft the Great Eagle Bow, he also serves as a way to get a new one every time your current one breaks, as every special champion item has. I don't really have much more to say about Harf, other than that he's a really cool looking Rito and an interesting NPC to have a chat with. I highly recommend it. Our final pick of the day takes us to the beautiful woodland stable. Here we can find both a very pretty stable with some stunning decking and tables, but also a very interesting little NPC by the name of Shamey. Shamey is a young girl who can be found outside the little wooden decking area, and if we talk to her, we'll get a pretty damn interesting conversation. The youngster tells Link about her fascination with the sky and the people that lived up there. Sounds familiar? Well, Shamey mentions that she has had dreams about those that lived in the sky a long time ago. This is likely a reference to Skyward Sword, the first chronological Zelda game that did in fact take place a long time ago and in the sky. Shamey will ask Link to send some balloons up high in the sky, and if he does, he'll get a reward that came from the sky itself. This actually starts a side quest, and if you attach some Octorok balloons to a barrel and send it towards the sky, Shamey will be very happy, and as promised, give Link a little reward. Star fragment. These precious gems fall from the sky in magnificent fashion, creating tall beams of light upon landing for the player to track it down and collect. They come in handy for upgrading armor. What's interesting about these fragments in this case is how similar they look to gratitude crystals from Skyward Sword, found in the game/time frame that Shamey was referencing when telling us about her dreams. She also mentions how she dreams of reaching the Sky Islands via balloon and riding a big bird. Very familiar. How on earth does Shamey have dreams about Skyloft and even know of the Loftwings, the settlement where most people lived back then and the animals used to get around? Did she somehow hear stories? Does she have a secret or two that we're not aware of? Or is it just her imagination that turns out to be a huge coincidence? Or maybe something else? I get the feeling that she's maybe read a book, some sort of fairy tale or legends book that is loosely based on Skyward Sword and has been passed throughout the generations. I don't know. Regardless, Shamie is one of my favourite NPCs in the game due to this really cool Skyward Sword reference, and whilst extremely unlikely, as the sequel wasn't even a planned thing during the development of the first game, as far as we know, you could also consider this a reference to the Sky Islands that we're going to be exploring in the second installment to this era of Hyrule, but it's pretty clearly a reference to Skyward Sword. Shamie is kinda mysterious thanks to this reference, and whilst it is clearly just a little Easter egg reference, whatever you want to call it, it really makes you wonder how she knows, and just adds so much more to yet another NPC in the game. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And that's about all for today, folks. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, and hey, maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more of my videos. All support is very much appreciated. If you're interested in seeing what I'm up to every day and taking part in my mostly daily polls, Q&As and whatnot, then follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, a massive shout out goes to all of my channel supporters across Patreon and YouTube. With special mention to new supporters, Roy and Donnie. I'm sorry if I butchered either of your names. Thanks a ton, it's very much appreciated. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting. It's a huge help to running the channel. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you all have a nice day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.